welcome. Introduction, I think, is not necessary. Come on, Pooja Dhingra. Who doesn't know Pooja Dhingra? She's created a revolution of sorts with the mushrooms. And I hope a mentoring session that she's going to give you will be really helpful because she has been so good throughout the COVID. She learnt a lot, reinvented. She did a lot of things during that time. So what I'm going to do is present Pooja the medal right now.
So Pooja's business La 15 turned 12, but I've seen Pooja grow over time in terms of the work and different tracks which he's taken. And what Pooja did very well is to use the power of social media to grow her brand. And she's often, selected by all these organizations to become their face and to talk. Without much ado, Pooja's going to talk about Instagram because that's one of the most powerful things today to drive food business.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? It's so nice to be here in person and to see everyone in person after a very long time. Before I start asking you guys questions and trying to help you with your social media journey, just to tell you a little bit about how my social media journey started. So me as a person, I love storytelling, I love documenting. So I was always that girl in school that had my little camera, and I always took pictures. So I think my personality always has been about documenting stories. And when I started Low 15, I was 23 and I didn't really have much of knowledge of marketing or PR or anything. I knew that I had my BlackBerry at the time and I used to be in my kitchen a lot, and whenever I had time from work I would just take a very bad picture of whichever cake I was making and I would upload it on my Facebook page. Slowly I saw the power of that because through the network of my friends, my family, people would see a picture and say, oh, you posted that picture of that cake that day, can we order it? Slowly I started documenting a lot more of my days of what was happening behind the scenes of building the business, of how the process of a recipe works. Not only just putting up pictures and telling people buy, kind of taking them through the journey of how I was building Low 15. And so here I am to tell you that all that matters is that you have a real and authentic story to tell. People really connect seeing a person at the end of it, right? So when a brand speaks versus when a person speaks, it hits kind of differently. And I think that's what we've been doing over all these years. People feel like they have this connect with me because I just share so much of my day. I'd love to take some questions to see what you guys struggle with, what you need help with. I'm here to answer everything as openly and honestly as possible. Instagram is evolving constantly and the use of hashtags also keeps changing. Earlier, they used to think that if you put like 40, 50, any kind of hashtags, your post will get more views. But as time goes by, studies have shown that that's not really accurate. I think choosing about 7 to 8 hashtags that are really relevant to what you're doing is what really works. And I've tested that. I've tried to see things with many hashtags, with no hashtags, with some hashtags. Yeah, so I don't think you should go overboard and hashtag everything, but just use the relevant hashtags for your posts and your pictures.
So when you select a topic with the hashtag, is it normal to pick the ones with the maximum,
Yeah,
mentions?
That would help. That would most definitely help, yes.
In video, there's stories and then there's posts. So like people often tend to be very particular about what they put in the main post, but stories can be a bit more whimsical or imperfect.
I feel like it kind of gives you a feeling of being in that moment with that person rather than something that's hyper curated. So I feel that stories is something that I really like. So you said something about people feel like they're too old to post.
Sometimes or they
So-
don't want to be in front of the camera.
Exactly. So I got my father onto Instagram and got him his own Instagram page. He started cooking in lockdown and we just started documenting his recipes. And slowly, he saw like this craze of people actually like asking him every day, Uncle, what are you making today? What are you making today? And now he's actually, selling his food. He's in his building. He like makes the food. He posts his own things and now he's on it. So I don't think age should ever be a barrier of when you can start and when you shouldn't. I think that if it's something that if you have a story to tell, it's never too late to start.
Shy about talking about what they're doing?
Why? If you don't talk about it, who will talk about it, right? So for me, it was when I started Low 15, that was my life, that was my universe. And that was everything that I was doing. So that was the only thing I was talking about. What really makes the difference is being true and honest about what you talk about. So obviously, if you're constantly going to be like humble bragging, or if you're constantly going to go and be boasting about what you're doing, it's not the right way to build an audience. But if you're saying, hey, I'm setting this business up and these are the things that I'm struggling with, there are so many other people who will connect with that. Maybe you'll form a community, maybe people will come and help you and tell you, this is what you can do to solve your problems, etc. So I think that building of that community has really helped. So we started a Love 15 Taste Club, which is about 15,000 people across the country. Before our cookies launch, we send them a secret box with these 4 flavors. So it was like 15,000 people from across the country are a part of this special sort of, secret launch mission for us. And it was like a launch like none other. We didn't have to spend a single rupee other than just getting the product out to people. And I think that that's the power of building a community over the years.
If you want to be known for your small business, should you talk about other stuff like a dog, your cats?
I feel that if you're doing it from your own personal page, 100%, I feel like people get and understand you completely and get a 360-degree view of who you are as a person. Yes, I'm a pastry chef, but I also like building the business. I also love dancing. I also love 10 other things. And then when I connect with people on those different passions, it kind of hits more real.
In fact, I want to ask you that you often show these behind the scene things of your kitchens and often sometimes the young interns. So how do people react to those behind the scene things?
So the Prakash is someone who works in the kitchen with me. And for 3 months, I didn't post about him and everybody was like, where is Prakash? I said, guys, he's working, he's there, he's in the kitchen. So I think it also helps people connect to your brand a lot more when they know who's making the food, right? It's not just a faceless, nameless brand. It's actual people behind it building it. So I think that always helps.
How much to share, because it's a business. Should they share the tricks of their trade or about how they're making this sambar? So any point of view on the balance on that?
I think for me in general, I feel sharing knowledge is the only way that you grow as well. I feel that if we all become secretive about our knowledge, nobody's going to learn. I am where I am because I could learn from so many different people's journeys, books, etc. And I do exactly the same. So as much as I can, I share what I can. I write recipe books for that exact same reason. And I think it only makes you grow stronger. It builds a community because people will always give you the credit for what they've learned. So I don't think that'll take away from you at all.
So what is your opinion or experience with regard to organic versus inorganic growth on social media? Should
Yeah.
a small business actually put aside a little marketing budget for
Yeah.
inorganic or paid advertising?
Yeah, sure.
Have you tried it and how's it been?
So I feel that as a brand, it really depends on your business goals. I didn't even know what performance marketing meant. We were just so organically just putting content out every day. And then we realized there's this whole different side to turning content to commerce. And how do you get into performance marketing? And it was really interesting. So the only way I see businesses kind of performing well on social media now is investing in ads, which as a brand we do as well. For Low 15 we do. And we find it to be really great because we already have a great organic reach. So that combined with the performance marketing, it's kind of a good business model that we've stumbled upon.
So how does one measure that one is growing
Yeah.
as a brand organically? Is it
So I think for me, so it's been almost 10, 11 years on Instagram. And what I said, it's about building these communities and building these relationships online, right? And I think a lot of us from the old Twitter days,
Yeah.
all the friendships that we made, the communities that we built, I think still today they play out. Consistent efforts is something that I would always recommend everyone to do. It's not something that just happens overnight and you wake up one day and you build this whole thing. It's small things every single day. So it gets frustrating, but I think patience is the key.
You've spoken about the self-doubts or low phases or about having to shut down, say, the cafe, which was so big to you. Does it help to not be a picture perfect
I
image?
think so. And I think that when you are trying to tell a story honestly, I think it's really not accurate if every morning I wake up and say, I'm crushing it, I'm killing it, and today I did this, and today I made that. It's not true. That's not how life works. It comes in phases, it comes in waves. And I feel that if you are being authentic, then you show an accurate representation of your highs and your lows. And that's what makes people realize that they're not chasing some random perfection that doesn't exist. 2 years ago when COVID hit and we had to shut down our cafe in Colaba, I wrote an article in Condé Nast Traveler, and I just wrote it from my heart, and I wrote about what shutting down the cafe meant to me. And I didn't think much about it, and I just put it out there, and the amount of love that I have received, I knew that I created something special and that I loved something, but to see how much people actually loved it and people resonated with it at different levels because everyone was struggling with something. So I think that it just made Low 15 as a brand stronger because I don't think vulnerability is weakness, and I think on social media that also really helps. Being honest always helps.
While packaging, what are the points you have to actually consider to see the lasting of the product?
So it really depends on what the product is first. I'll give you an example. If it is something that is doesn't have much shelf life, for example, our macaroons currently have a 2 or 3 day shelf life, then a simple paper box works. It's great. But if it's something like the cookie that you guys just had, it's freshly made and it's packed. It basically just depends on the kind of shelf life that you want. What the product inside is. So I work with a team of food scientists and depending on the product that we are packing, so whether it's a hot chocolate or whether it's a cookie, we'll do different shelf life tests. There's a lot of testing that goes on to see what we want to achieve finally. So if it's a short-term product or if it's a long-term product, and then with that final goal, we'll work on the different materials that are available and then we'll decide what to use.
What I want to ask is, does the timing of the day posting your pictures or stories make a difference? Is there a good timing of the day? Does that impact your views or anything?
So I think that when you go into your Instagram sort of user base and you check your followers and you see what time, you actually have a table to see what time your users are most active. So for example, I know for me it's around 6 p.m. So the time that you know that people are most active, obviously if you post then the views that you will get will be the highest that time. But to be very honest with you, I only go with instinct. I just try to make sense of, and then slowly, the thing is try different things, right? Like it's like throwing darts. So try it, experiment, post at a certain time every day for a week, see how it does. Then the next week try something else. You'll only know if you try it.
Does it ever get overwhelming for you to share on social media like all the time? You have to do everything like menu planning, you have to take the BTS shots, you have to take the actual shots and the posting and everything.
In the start, I was just so involved in everything, and like you said, I was so busy doing everything that I didn't even have a minute to stop and think about what. So it was actually great because then you don't have any thoughts of like, what is this other person doing or what is working, what is not working. You're just doing your thing. But for me, it actually during lockdown is when I was questioning everything. I never really thought of what I was putting out as content as such, right? I was just living my life. And then suddenly everyone was like, oh, this is content and that is content. I was like, I'm tired of everything being content, right? Like whatever happened to just documenting things. So then started asking myself those questions, and I actually deleted everything for 1 week because I just needed some time to think. And I decided that I would use my platform and my stage to not only help other people and other small businesses at that time, but also kind of just be very true about what I was going through. Yeah, but it's totally normal and natural to feel overwhelmed. It happens all the time. You just have to breathe through it, take a break, and then come back.
People are trying hard to get verified or trying hard to get the numbers right so that they can also crack deals like paid partnership and stuff. What do you think about it?
So to be honest, I don't really think much about it. I think that everyone has their own journeys and their own cycles of what they want to achieve with their lives. I do definitely think that if you are a content creator and you want to, if this is what you're doing full time, then it would make sense for you to have those things in order because it would help your business and your brand. And if someone is going after that, then I guess that's the business that they want to get into, which is totally fine. I guess it's different routes for different things. That's what I think of it.
Thank you so much for coming, Pooja, and doing this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I hope this was helpful and that I haven't put you all to sleep. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.